Hey, my name is Adam Carending. I'm a young entrepreneur pursuing my dream of personal development and marketing. I'm sitting here with three extremely well-known entrepreneurs in the city of Indianapolis who are taking action and pursuing their dreams and who are great examples of where you can get in life at such a young age if you just persevere. I'm here with personal development coach, speaker, franchise owner and entrepreneur Paul John, tech entrepreneur, Deliveroo founder and CEO Nick Turner, and serial entrepreneur and Noblesville Imports partner Jeff Long. All right, so you guys are all, close to the age of 30 years old, I'm sure, and I know for a fact you've been through a lot of ups and downs, and I have a feeling that, along your journey, you have uncovered the power of habits in your life. Tim Ferriss, he has a great quote that says, "If you win the morning, you win the day." Nick, I want to ask you first, what is the one crucial habit you have within your morning or your daily routine, and why would you recommend everyone do this?
Well, whenever I wake up, I go in the bathroom, brush my teeth, and but before that, I always pray. And it's more about just having that connection with God. And because whenever I was younger, I didn't have it. I'd always think that church was a habit, or not a habit, a chore in a way. And I didn't really appreciate it until I got older. And the more that I connected with God, the better father I am to my son. Business is going better friendships, better people around you, just the overall circles just improve because God just teaches you how to love one another. Yeah.
For sure. Paul John, talk a little bit, before answering that question, talk about your opinion on the power of habits and what that's really done in your life, and then talk about a couple habits that you have, whether morning routine, daily routine, and why you would suggest someone do those.
For sure. So the power of habits for me has been a really crucial behavior in my life. It was almost to the point where I either choose healthy habits or I choose going backwards. I feel some of the habits that I've done, making my bed, little things like that, little things that's going to help set me up for my day, to little things that's going to help set me up for my week. So the power of habits is crucial. I feel if you don't learn how to develop the right habits early on, while you're young or an entrepreneur, you're going to make a lot of poor decisions, which is going to lead to a lot of poor benefits coming your way. For me, by making the choice to choose some positive habits in my life early on, I simply am reaping the benefits of those years later. So when I was 17, 18 years old, 19 years old, I knew I wanted to be up early in the morning, reading books, running, being healthy, planning for my day. The thing about it is what's so powerful is that when you start to develop powerful habits in your everyday life, you not only are practicing a good discipline and a good behavior, but I found that you're setting yourself up for even anything to come across your way during that day. So if you're having a bad day, you've already started your day off good by setting those good habits. So making your bed, jotting those down, praying, spending time with God, meditation, and then anything that comes your way, you've already embraced for the worst thing that can happen. And then the thing about it is too, some of the habits that I've developed has also brought me peace at 28 years old. So, I enjoy actually sitting down and reading a book. I enjoy getting my 10 minutes with the Lord every morning, writing down my notes, my thoughts, because it brings me peace. For others, it could do different. But I remember being young, and every time we would just move every 3 months. We would get kicked out of our house, police knocking on the door. There was no peace in the house. So for me to be able to develop the habits as a young man and then an entrepreneur, and it brings peace to me. And so if I get that customer calling who's ready to cancel, if I get an employee who's on the verge of quitting or they have a crisis, I'm already ready to provide peace because of my daily habits.
You touched on a couple different habits there. What would you say would be the one habit that has had the most impact on your life?
I feel in the morning is developing that time for meditation. That has been a habit for me because you don't know what your day is going to be. You don't know what people are going to say or do that's in your organization. So for me, getting quiet and really forcing myself to get still and spending time with the Lord, spending time meditation on the daily basis has been the most powerful habit in my life this far. When I do not do that, or I forget to do that, I lose track of sometimes of my anger, of my, I may say something to an employee, or I might get a little harsh in that email to a customer, and I find myself apologizing. The thing I've learned about it is that you can always apologize, but you always can't control what comes out your mouth or how you respond, because your thoughts, and as an entrepreneur, you're always busy, you're always running. So you want to check the next thing off your list. So that's been the most powerful thing for me.
For sure. Jeff, do you have a morning routine at all? And if so, what's, a couple of things that are extremely powerful in that for you? If it's a daily routine, what are those things that are, impacting your life on a day-to-day basis?
Yep. So morning routines are my favorite thing now. I know you can attest to that. Getting up early becomes a thing when you get older, period, and you actually really enjoy it.
Yes.
So my current morning routine is to get up early for sure, which used to always be a struggle, of course. Around that 5:30, 6, it does vary. Depends on how late you work that night before. So getting up early, getting a head start to the day is absolutely key. Now, whether you go straight to a workout, which pretty much every single entrepreneur in every book I read does, or whether you just go straight to the office, which is 90% of the time what I do. There's no wrong way at all, period. I'm more of a late night gym guy. I do like going at 7:30 p.m. I like going straight to the office early. Either way, it works. There's a lot of value in it because you can accomplish so much stuff before your day of distractions come into play. Whether it's employees, whether it's meetings, whether it's social media, friends, family, drama, it doesn't matter. All those distractions don't happen at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So right now, currently in life, I absolutely love getting up early. I love getting the early grind done. Haven't gotten into meditating, probably need to get on that. Big reader in the morning, Audible. Any young entrepreneurs listen to this, listen to books, trade out your music in the car for books all day long. I got a 30-minute drive to work every day. It's my favorite part of the morning. Listening to protein shake, listening to audiobooks on the way to work, getting knowledge in, peaceful start to the morning, getting work done early before employees come in, or vice versa. Like I said, sometimes I will work out first. Get an early morning workout in. You feel excellent when you work out early. I'll tell you that. I love getting all the work done most of the time because I have so much of it. But those days that I go in and work out early and then go to the office around 8, I gotta tell you, you're like fired up all day. You're always hungry, burning calories. You don't mind staying a little later at work because you don't have to rush to the gym. Your evening's pretty much open. So I'm like I don't know. I want to get more 50-50, but right now I gotta go in early.
For sure, I love it.
And the thing too is like all these little things I've learned is mastering our morning. When you think about it, there's so much to do in the morning. Prepare your protein shake, right? Get ready for your workout, find your clothes, you're brushing your teeth, you may be reading a book. There's all these little things that really doesn't associate with people that are huge distractions. So I love what you said, man, like there's no emails coming through at 5 a.m. There's no social media, no one's up. Literally, Instagram is ghost. And you are forced to really master your day. And I have to say, when I don't do that, it is really bad. So I try to do that every single day.
For sure, and that's a perfect segue into the next question, because we all know that that's easy. It can be easy to do, but it's also extremely easy not to do. So a lot of discipline comes into play. And Paul John, I know you talk a lot about discipline. What does discipline mean for you?
So I feel like discipline is nothing more but a behavior, and it's a good behavior, should be. Discipline for me means repeating the same thing over and over again that's going to allow good benefits. I feel like discipline allows your purpose to happen, right? So if you're not disciplined, you're being lazy or lacking thereof. And so purpose, once you really master, and what I've done is really master my discipline every single day, what I need to make Paul John work. Water, food, workout, read. Once you master that discipline, I feel like then you are discovering your everyday purpose. Then purpose prompts for good benefits. So if you know your purpose, then you will have all these other things that you can benefit off of for the rest of your day. Discipline for me means, not really selling for less. So you have two choices. You can eat pizza 5 days a week, or you can choose to prep your meal. The average guy is like, man, I want the pizza and the wings. But it takes a discipline to really take time to make your meal or figure out what it is that you're going to eat so that you can be healthy. A lot of people don't realize that what you eat controls your energy. It controls how you move during the day. If you're feeling sluggish and you're not really having the energy you need to be the business owner you need, that's going to reflect a lot of people in your inner setting. So then it goes back to discipline. What do you want? I think discipline for me is a choice. It is a choice to say that I'm going to choose to be disciplined and have self-love. And that's what I look at too. Discipline is that it is choosing to have the best version of love for yourself, to give yourself the very best version you can so that you can be everything you can during the day. If you're choosing not to do that, then I feel like you're not loving yourself to the highest satisfaction that you possibly can. So for me, working out, eating healthy, doing the right things so that Paul John can activate the necessaries during the day is really powerful.
Oh, that's awesome. Jeff, do you agree with what he said? And what has discipline done for you specifically in just 2019?
100% agree. We're on a lot of the same levels lately. What has it done for me? I feel like it's elevated my desire to win and be successful. Everything from the books, eating right, it does change your mood and behavior. You talk to people right. You're more focused in your business. A lot of disciplinary traits that I've implemented in the last couple of years were, of course, the early rising, a lot more reading, not just on business though, but a lot on leadership and communication and how to talk to people. Meal prepping's been huge too. I find a lot of value in not spending a lot of my time throughout the week cooking and grocery shopping when I could be doing something to grow the business. So I've been paying for meals for like 3 years now. I refuse to cook because of a time thing. I literally eat for convenience. I don't eat because it tastes good, pizza, wings. I eat a lunch or a breakfast just to get it out of the way because I know I'm supposed to eat. And then I get back to work. So yeah, discipline's just changed the game for me, straight up. I never used to do any of this kind of stuff.
Right.
I used to eat poorly and sleep in and stay up late for no reason, watching Netflix and doing all these things, but I wasn't going anywhere or had any desires or motivation. So
I just want to piggyback one last thing is that I feel like discipline is the key to any material thing that you want, right? So if you work out, you're going to get the body you eventually want. If you stop working out, you're going to feel very insecure about what you look like. So for me, as I'm growing and reaching momentum and success, it's coming from discipline. I'm not some brilliant guy that has rewrote the map. Is every day repetitively and asking for excellence in these everyday activities and behaviors.
Nick, what are your thoughts on that, and why is discipline important to you?
Discipline equals execution, and execution equals hitting milestones. And you just have to, like I always said, daily milestones and also weekly milestones. And I was talking to you about that earlier. And just like setting the daily ones, it helps you tackle the smaller goals. And the little things matter. So people always forget that baby steps still move you forward. And it's just,
huge.
Yeah.
This is for whoever wants to answer this question, but how does someone develop that self-discipline mindset? Because we all know being disciplined is extremely hard. So how does someone develop that?
Making mistakes. So whenever you make mistakes, you're just it's like you being immature in your own mind. And as you continue to grow as a person, it just helps you really focus in on what's a priority to you and what's not. So you'll stop putting attention and putting your time into things that don't matter and start focusing in on what does, which really just pushes you forward and brings success.
For sure. And with that too, discipline leads perfectly into perseverance. And, hardship's something everyone goes through in life. And, the one who perseveres and never gives up are the ones that turn their dreams into reality. And I know all of you have persevered in order to get exactly where you are today. Paul John, how do you create solutions to challenging problems when they come in life, business, relationships? How do you deal with that?
So I feel like, first of all, you got to take responsibility for your own actions. And I try to find solutions by looking at it with a big lens from all angles, from the customer's angle, from the average, from the technician's angle. And so then I seek it with a moment of love. I want to respond with some kindness. And so I'm big on how I respond, whether if it's the customer or if it's the employee. How I respond, sometimes I may take a little bit of time to respond. I may think about it, I may pray about it. No one says you have to respond right away. I think it's in the response is where I find the wisdom at. So also, there's a level of excellence that I just set for myself and for my team, And once you bend that bar, then you've bent that bar all across the bar, the rim there. So I feel like excellence should be high. I think when you respond with facts and you respond with wisdom and you look at it, I think you can develop a good decision.
What did it take to build your business to where it is today? How long did it take, and what did you have to persevere through in order to get where you are today?
So it took a decision, which was the leap of faith to get started, period. And as some of these guys may know, in the retail business, it's a little bit more difficult of a leap than just a service business, because you really have to leave everything behind and hope and pray. So the leap of faith was the first thing I had to get over. Just to commit to doing it and knowing that I may be making no money, eating mac and cheese next year, whatever, but that's true passion right there. The second part of it was probably figuring out things on the way. I want this answer actually worked for this question and the last question that you answered, but mentorship was huge for me. The moment I found a couple of buddies I even hang out with to this day that are actually even more successful than me, and started surrounding myself with them, that's when my passion lit up through the roof. There's no book or rule or anything that can fire you up the way another human being can be that's pushing you to do more and be more. So that's what really lit me up, and surrounding myself with other competitors and doing research and figuring out how to get bigger and grow bigger and move faster. So the rest of it was just trial and error. I mean, there's no secret answer, secret sauce to growing a business. You just have to research your competition, figure out what works for you.
Go for it.
It took 3 years and again, beyond every single day to figure out how to get over these hurdles. But again, a lot of trial and error, a lot of just figuring it out your own, Googling stuff, reading books, whatever.
I love what you said about mentors, surrounding yourself with those individuals, because in my opinion, self-confidence really doesn't come from self. It comes from other people, and having that crowd around you, motivating you, pushing you forward and, challenging you is ultimately what it takes for you to take that leap of faith and just go after it. So I really like what you touched on there. Paul, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Yes, I was just going to piggyback on what you said, the last question. I really wanted to say to the average guy out there who's thinking about starting a business, or the lady out there who's, you may feel lost, you may feel like you just don't have enough to do what you're called to do. I feel like if you're just like, man, I want to start something, I know I'm called to be an entrepreneur, I know I got to get service, I know I'm gifted, I know I'm skilled. I feel like you have to take responsibility for yourself. The moment you take responsibility for yourself and your own actions and the course you want to go, then you can start to make better decisions for yourself. So the example is that, I had a mom who had me on drugs. I can choose to say, I'm not going to be who I am today because of my mom. I can blame her for growing up with tough situations, coming home, no food, wondering why I don't have a mom, and living in darkness. But it's up to me to control my emotions. It's up to me to seek better, a better understanding of who Paul John is, instead of saying, I'm just going to live the same life that my mom or my dad. So I think you have to decide as a young person or as an entrepreneur that you want to take responsibility for who you are. And then once you are settled with who you are, then the world gets out your way and you make a difference in anything you do. It could be a business, it could be a career, it could be a job, but then you have to get out your way. That's simply what I've done, is say, you know what, I'm Paul John. And even though I didn't have a mom or a dad, I'm choosing to make a better decision. I'm choosing to make better choices. And this is how I'm going to live.
I love that. Nick, how do you handle adversity when it comes? And, you've persevered through a lot. We've talked about your story a little bit. I'm just curious, what is the hardest thing that you've had to persevere through? And what was the positive that you took out from that experience?
The biggest thing that I had to persevere through one of the biggest steps I've ever taken in life, which was becoming a dad.
A question off that is, what has becoming a dad, what has that shown you about yourself? Who have you become because of that?
Well, I think my son Aiden makes me a better person, and he just helps me build. He's taught me he's taught me way more than I've ever taught him. He doesn't even know it, from patience to anger control to communication. Whenever I first started, my very first startup, after I graduated, he was born. So what happened was I quit my job at Royal United Mortgage, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna start my own company. So I literally went home, and this was after he was born. Literally went home, he was 2-3 months old, and I just started writing down different ideas and started researching them, seeing what I can execute and implement, what can I improve on, on all these different ideas. And I did that for about 2-3 days, and then from there I was like, okay, I'm gonna start my first one, because while I was at IU, it just taught me how I learn. So my first startup was called the Unbounded Group, and it was an online platform for startup and seasoned entrepreneurs where they can exchange tips, tricks, tell their whole story, everything. But we also had a piece where we would analyze business models, business plans, pitch decks, everything. So people would be sending in the pitch deck, and it'll cross crazy industries, anything from clothing, brand startups to tech companies. And there was one I remember, I'll never forget, I can't say the company's name, but they sent in their pitch deck to pitch for their Series A, and I was so they're already up and going, and I'm all right, so I'm sitting there Googling, learning everything within that industry so I can add it and make it better. It always takes time for business to start. And I did have a mentor. He's an entrepreneur too. His name was Chad Folkening. And I lived in the Kessler Mansion. And it was pretty insane while I was living there. And she's I would never sleep, because I would have my son, his mom would drop him off to me at around 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'd have him from 6 until she'd come and pick him up at 5:30. And then I also worked at Amazon from 6 until 5:30 in the morning. So I was doubling it up.
Right.
And whenever I got home, he was a baby, super small, so I couldn't fall asleep. So I literally just worked on my business while I watching him, taking care of him, changing diapers, everything. And it just hit me one day that I was just sheesh, I wouldn't be able to do this without him. And from that day, moving forward, he was the main focus on everything that I do.
I want to dive into leadership though, because I know all three of you are phenomenal leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs. Jeff, you specifically, you grew a business from 1 to 12 employees, right?
12, including my business partner.
Okay, so 1 to 12 in 4 years or so. What is the hardest part of leadership for you, and what is the most important part?
Hardest part, oh man, it's all of it. We could throw communication in there maybe. Being a young entrepreneur is interesting because you could have people working for you that are older than you. So for them to take you seriously it's tough for them to understand, but they'll never understand your business like you because you're the passion driver. But other than that, bringing on employees has actually been exciting. It's been fun to grow. It's been fun to learn and build job responsibilities as the business grows. It's been fun to learn how to interview, how to fire, how to write someone up, what an HR department is. I didn't know. I just had to figure it out. By calling competition, seeing what other people are doing, looking at, payroll services offer a lot of training and education, of course reading about some of it too. But having employees hasn't really been scary. I mean, the payroll number is, but that's the scariest part of it. But that's usually your biggest expense. Well, depending on your business, of course. It's our biggest expense. But I know that it's providing me an army of people that actually love coming to work and are passionate about working in a fun environment. But in our business, in the auto industry, it's really easy to get people fired up to work there because it's so busy. That's one of the reasons I left things like marketing agencies and stuff behind, because it was too boring. I wanted something like fast-paced, busy phones, customers, cars, blah, blah, blah. So I just picked the dealership. And everyone who works with me, I don't like to say employees, we're all a big team members. I feel like they love their job, driving cool cars and doing fun, like focused tasks and stuff. It's not a bunch of like cubicle data work or anything. It's exciting. We're a fun place to work.
What is the most important part of leadership?
That's a good question. Most important part is probably integrity. Your employees, or team members, I guess I should say, will look up to you and they will respect you if respected. So you really do have to learn how to talk to people, how to address people, how to sit them down, how to help them achieve their goals, how to evaluate them, how to treat them right, respectfully, how to understand their personal life, and adapt to that too. The world's kind of shifting away from like the whole corporate structure and like the strictness of everything. It's getting a lot more lenient. Everybody wants to work at a place that's fun to work, that's lenient, that understands their personal life and children and families and things that they got to do.
Nick, what do you believe is one leadership quality that everyone can apply to their lives?
One is just believing in others, and two is grit. So they have to know that when working, things can get tough and hard and going crazy, but they have to believe in themselves enough to know that they can get through it and execute and come out on top.
How do you communicate that to someone that maybe doesn't believe that? How do you get them to shift their mindset into moving forward?
Yeah. Just sit down with them and just talk to them. Have like a one-on-one. Because it's just like understanding like the psychology like behind like the communication aspects and like the different barriers that they're like going through. Because one of the things that they could be unconfident on is something that they were fired from like a previous job, and you just have to like let them know like, hey, like calm down, everything's gonna be okay. Everyone makes mistakes, but just learn from it. Like, let me sit down with you, let's figure this out. And from there, it also like builds up a good, solid like rapport with your like team member, and also it builds trust and retention. Like, because like whenever you have to like onboard multiple like people, it's a nightmare.
For sure.
But with like delivering, I know we're going to be like hiring a lot more people in this next year, and I want everyone to feel like it's a family. Yeah, of course, like we'll have like some parties, have some fun, but at the end of the day, like I want them to know that they have like someone they can go to like talk with. Like if there's something like even outside of like work that's like stressing them out, they can come in and just be like, hey, can I talk to you about this? I'm like, yeah, of course. And I sit down, just have some real like conversations, and like with that, it just helps them like feel more secure and safe, and that's like what delivering is like built off of. And they just like feel more confident, and the more confident they are in their work, the better quality of work that they provide, and the harder they want to go like for you, because they do look up to you like whenever you like started a company, and they believe in you because because like if they didn't, then they wouldn't be a part of it.
Right.
I always say like I don't hire employees, I hire entrepreneurs because I want them, like they're the entrepreneur of that sector within delivering, because I don't want to like have to micromanage. One, I don't have time. Two, I just don't like to. I want people to believe in themselves and know that they can execute and be confident, because after delivering, I want them to be able to like start their own business in what they love. And it could be something that sparked like how PayPal, like they have like their whole, like from Sequoia Capital to YouTube, Facebook, like all of those different ones. And I want them to like be able to like go to someone like, hey, like I'm starting my own company, and someone from Deliver and be like, hey, like, can I take this person from you? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like, go build that business. Like, I'll help you. Like, let me know. And should say, if we have the exit, I'll invest. Like, I just really want everyone to like build something solid towards their dreams, and it just starts off with like helping them trust themselves and like believe in themselves.
I love that. That's great advice, and that shows a lot about your integrity and your character. So awesome, thank you. Paul, so you lead a large team of individuals. What does leadership mean to you, and what are those qualities? That same question that I asked Nick. What's that one or two qualities of a leader that you believe are absolutely just the most important thing?
For sure, I agree with everything that you guys said. To me, leadership, it is. I think I've been an example. I think you got to be the example in any organization first. A quality that I look for is integrity. I look for character as well. I always say you can hire skill, but when I'm sitting in front of someone and I'm interviewing them, I'm looking for integrity and character, because I cannot babysit you. So in my industry, we got people cleaning on a nightly basis, and there may be money left out, or a door unlocked. I need them to be able to be honest with me. You can always train skill, so but you cannot train integrity or character. So I look for that. And leadership, I think, to be a good leader, the things that I've been learning the last 5 years, been in business and operating, is that you got to be willing to be a good listener. You got to hear your people and what they need versus what they want. You got to be able to figure out what they need, because a lot of people are looking for what they need, and the want can come later. And then take good care of them as a leader. So your people are out working for you. They're breaking their back for you. You got to be willing to take good care of them, because they're building your brand when you're not around. And then to keep going as to be a good leader, I feel like you got to be willing to sacrifice and have patience. So people are going to fail you over and over again. They're human beings. We've failed ourselves over and over again. So I've always been big of building that same culture, family environment, taking care of your people. I'm the one that I don't do really good at firing people, because I really want to give them a chance. I always say, if you have to fire a lot, then you've done very bad at interviewing. So I try not to hire with the intent to fire. I try to hire with the intent to ship them off to another. Hey, go ahead, man. You've developed good skills here. Go work with that company. I try to hire with the intent to develop them and help them reach their milestones, their goals. And so we've really focused in on our hiring this year. It's always a struggle to hire the right people. But we got an HR department where a lady just focuses on asking the questions, why are you looking for this job? Why are you looking for extra income? And getting to know them and their personality. And for us, we're seeing a huge turnaround. So we're still better than the national average when it comes to turnover. We still struggle, but we're getting the people that really, they want to have a goal, and it doesn't matter if they're cleaning toilets or if they're doing maintenance. They're really sticking to it because we're giving them what they want.
You said something in there that talked about you hire with the intent of wanting to genuinely develop people into, having better character, more integrity, just becoming the best version of themselves possible, which, segues something that we've been talking about this whole entire time, is personal development. For me personally, I believe personal development is fundamental to developing all of these success characteristics that we have been talking about, and the habits that we're talking about as well. Paul, I know your goal is to help young entrepreneurs get to where they want to go through personal development. what does personal development mean to you, and what is personal development? Because I feel like, especially nowadays, there's younger people, personal development is starting to become cooler, right? But a lot of people hear that as a buzzword and they have no clue what that actually means. So what is personal development to you? And just talk on that.
Good question. I feel like personal development is you taking a look at yourself, maybe with a mirror in your face, and saying, I need to make some different decisions, some different choices. Is you saying, I need to develop in these areas of my life. And what that looks like, only you know what that looks like. It's taking time to say, you know what, I'm writing these goals down and I want to meet these by the end of 2020. It's taking time saying that I have failed over and over again in these areas and I'm not getting the results that I want. It's taking time to make a choice that you want to be a better human being, that you want better all around you. And sometimes that means your community, who you live with, who you're around, who your friends, or making that financial decision. So personal development is a very broad statement, but it's all these little things that you need to do or take a look at in your life to help you develop and become better, depending on the direction you want to go.
Jeff, I know you read personal development books. Would you say that has anything to do with your success in business? And if so, what was the biggest change you saw from when you started reading books versus when you weren't reading?
Sure. I think in the beginning, personal development books had a huge impact. And then I just stopped reading them because I'm already motivated. I'm already lit up. I'm already fired up. I don't need to read another book about personal development or getting hyped up anymore. I'm motivated. I'm ready to go. So I actually have switched my reading to different things. You've actually got me on a lot of leadership stuff lately because there's a lot I can learn there. There's a lot I can learn about communication. And every now and then I'll read a random book about like Google AdWords and just listen to that one just to like learn new things, I guess.
What would you say, to that young entrepreneur? How do they find? Because like you said, you started reading books and then you found out. You don't really, that motivation is within. So what's the best advice you can give someone, a young entrepreneur, that may not know where to start with personal development? They pick up a book and it's really not for them. How do they, because a lot of people think personal development may just be reading books, right? What is that for you, and what's that piece of advice that you would tell that young entrepreneur? If books isn't for you, then where do they go next?
Right. I don't think books are the starting point for a young entrepreneur. They're not going to get fired up face deep in a book. I think mentorship is. Absolutely. Straight up. I think if you're a young entrepreneur, listening to this right now, you need to find someone who's doing what you want to do, whether it's in your industry or just being self-employed in general, and learn more about them, their daily habits, their goals, their aspirations. If it is in your industry or you happen to have a connection competition-wise that you can follow, even better. That's the golden nugget. Everything I've learned in any business, no matter what it was, I got from research and competition, straight up research and development. I think you're going to learn and get the most passionate doing that. And then books kind of come along and keep you motivated, keep you excited, keep you getting knowledge, because knowledge becomes fun once you start working for yourself, and everything you do in life and every day relies on your own income and growth at that point. So you suddenly just a switch flips, and it's like ride or die every day. So everything becomes a lot more meaningful, like the people you hang out with, the books you read, switching your car from music to books, those little things like that become actually enjoyable. Getting home and instead of turning on Netflix, popping up the laptop on your kitchen counter or reading while you're eating your dinner, chilling. Those things just start coming naturally and you enjoy them.
I would even say too, to pick you back off that, is identifying your blind spots, identifying your weak spots as a young entrepreneur. You just got to face it. We're young, we don't know everything, and you got to be willing to accept help. I think one of the things that I really embraced with all three of us here, that we were willing to get mentors at a young age because we didn't know anything. I had 10 mentors, and still to this day I have a roster of mentors that I can call or get lunch with and let them just pour into me because I don't know anything. and being willing to look at your blind spots and say, I need help here. I think you hit a wall when you feel like you're young and you know everything, or you're trying to tell the person who's mentoring you that you have it all together. You got to be willing to pull back the curtain in your own life and look at those blind spots and say, how would you do this? Do you have any advice here? And then take notes. I think the thing about me is that, again, I'm not some brilliant genius guy, is that I was sitting with mentors who were millionaires at 16, 17 years old and being a sponge to their knowledge. And so here I got 40, 50, 60, 80-year-old men pouring into my 19-year-old mindset. And so you have all that knowledge over years that you're going to work like a 50-year-old man. You're going to do business like a 50-year-old man. And so that's a secret. But the thing about it is, the more you do that, you automatically elevate everything in your life faster. You read more books. You develop great relationships faster. Your money goes way up faster because you're doing business with people who don't even know your age. Like you said earlier, you said something really cool, Jeff, that I struggle with, is that most of the time when I'm emailing a customer or I'm going to go get a customer, and the people that I hire, they older than me, So I'm 28, but everyone's older than me that I hire. Just this year, I'm trying to get more millennials in our organization. But then in the email, it's like the customers don't see my age. They see the 50-year-old wisdom that I got when I was getting coached at 17 years old.
How do you find mentors, though? You said you're around all these people when you're 19 years old. How does a 19-year-old today, get in a room or just find that relationship with a mentor that's willing to pour into them?
Awesome question. So for me, network marketing was a huge path for me. It was a home run. Network marketing taught me how to want to be like the guys that was on stage. Network marketing teaches you to get in, be a part of the organization, and then you have these mentors. Some words they use upline, right? What I was realizing is that all these uplines were already successful, and so I was the guy to say, hey, you know what? I want to get lunch with you. I think you can find a mentor by looking at a group of people and trying to find one common thing and identifying with that thing. So a lot of people at the time when I was in network marketing, I wanted to be like them. I wanted to dress like them. I wanted to make the money that they had. And all these things, all these material things, the benefits that I seen was attracting to me. But what I did not know that they had was something else in here that I was even more attractive to. So I think that answered that question too more. Start to find people who you want to be like and mimic them. And so I got an uncle, his name is John Merriweather, a business owner in Carmel as well. And I always wanted to be like him because he always had something going that was better. He always wanted to perform excellence that was better. And still to this day, he's doing the same thing. And he never dropped the bar lower. But he has a tolerance of just excellence. And if you're not performing excellence, he really doesn't have very much to say to you. So if you want to find mentors, you need to identify with people that have what you want.
I have two quick comments on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, I actually started in network marketing too. That's what lit my fire up to want to be in the business world, independent business owner. Wow. So that's where I got my start too. What was your business? What did you do?
Amway.
I did Amway too! Yeah. Down in Orlando. Yeah. I jumped around a few companies though, but they do teach you a lot. The speakers, the education material, you find a lot of passion in network marketing. To also answer that question, you may not find a mentor, but something you can do and control is controlling the people that you surround yourself with too. So while a young entrepreneur listening to this interview right now may not be able to find a mentor or be very outgoing enough to go find one, they can definitely control their buddy that's calling them to come hang out and do nonsense right now. 100%. They can focus and start developing their life and goals and ideas of what they want to do, and somebody along the way will come.
That's great advice.
And just reaching out, like you see someone who's like the CEO of a company, you just literally just like friend them on LinkedIn and just message them, or just do research, find their email and just message, like send them a quick cold email. I mean, that's how I got Chad as a mentor, and he was literally like, what? He's like, you're crazy, but he literally like
it worked.
Yeah, I emailed him, and then less than an hour later, he just literally wrote me back and said, here's my cell phone number, call me. And I called him, and we were on the phone for like an hour, and I learned so much. I mean, so much, but it's just really just like going out of your comfort zone and just reaching out. And and just swallowing your pride and just know that you need help. It's like, it's not a bad thing to ask for help. And I mean, everyone needs help. You're starting a business, so yeah,
Right.
of course.
Right.
But like whenever you're really trying to like learn and everything, I mean, like if you place a seed on concrete, it won't grow. But it has to dig down deep in order for it to grow. So you have to fail, you have to stumble, you have to get like put under a lot of pressure. And then from that, as long as you continue to and be willing and open to learning, then you can literally just like teach yourself anything.
The thing I was going to say about having mentors is that sometimes you may feel like lost. We get so busy in the day-to-day operations that we forget to, go back to where we came from. Kind of, I feel like having mentors in that community is kind of home for me. So when I feel like I don't know which way to go, I may be nervous, or I need to make a really big decision that can impact, my organization, then I go back to my mentors. So having a huge database of mentors is almost like having a database of advisors that you can call anytime, you can text anytime, and they're still willing to pour that energy and wisdom into you. So I love that. And I'm really grateful that I had mentors at 17, 18, 19 years old, because I wouldn't be who I am. They're a big part of my journey.
Yeah, like with, like piggybacking off what you said, like I was fortunate enough to have like one of the guys from Uber, like he was the number 5 hire from Uber, like whenever they first started. And like our business is in the gig economy space, so I just literally just like learned so much from him. And he left Uber, and then he also rolled out Uber Rise and Uber Freight in the Midwest. But he was a CEO at Jump, and Jump sold to Uber for $200 million.
Wow.
And just like some of the things, like whenever I talk to him, like I have to like do my research, make sure that I like do everything I can to not find a solution. But if I still can't find that solution, I'll reach out to him like, hey, I did this. Can you help me find a solution for this? And then he'll be like, yep. Because he's been through it. So if you like reach out to the people that like been like walked in your shoes before, they can give you like real life advice on like how to execute. And sheesh, like the information and some of the knowledge that he passed along to me has been huge, especially for delivering, like from like how to raise capital, how to execute whenever you first roll out, how to scale into multiple markets, like how to adjust your burn rate and how to control it as well.
It seems surprising at first, but
Yeah.
then you become the mentor too, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, this is actually fun to talk about. And so if anyone is listening to this and is nervous, like reaching out to a mentor, do it, because I promise you they're ready to pour out.
Yeah.
Just like we are. If somebody asked me anything today,
Yeah.
I'd be all about,
Yeah.
all passionate, hyped up about helping them out, because it is a passion.
And if they say no, they're not the right mentor for you.
For sure.
You know, I think that you just need to say, you know what, this is not the right guy, not the right woman for me. I need to move on. Don't be afraid to accept a no. You're one no closer to your yes. And usually when it's a yes, it's the right person in your life. You know.
I want all three of you to think about a mentor that has had the most impact in your life, and what was the one piece of advice that they gave you that changed everything, or what is the one thing that they do that you want to emulate?
I'll go. So one of my mentors, his name is Doug. So Doug, he's an owner of a franchise with UPS. That was one of my first jobs when I was really young. It's a little store. They have them all around the city, the UPS stores. And so I was working for him, and he taught me that you should never allow your wallet to get bigger than your heart. And so I really didn't understand the concept of it, but as I started thinking about it, you know, it's like, man, I want to make money, I want to make money, and I want to start my own business, and Doug, I want to be like you. But he kept saying that over and over again. And working for his franchise, UPS, he taught me how to develop good customer service skills and how to take care of your customers when they come through the door, and then check supply inventory. And so I really adopt that concept in my heart today. It doesn't matter how successful I get, still remain and do life with the heart. And I think if you respond from the heart, you make a lot of people happy, and you please a lot of people. You're gonna have people who are not happy, but I think you never can. You won't find yourself apologizing a lot. So
My mentor that gave me a piece of advice is my buddy Eugene. Probably see me talk about him a lot. He owns a dealership too. It's about 4 times my size. He's got 40 employees. He's younger than me. Crazy. He didn't like physically say this or teach me this. I just saw it over the last 5, 6, 7 years I've known him. But I would say humbleness, because you can see his pure passion in his business of 46 employees, multi-million-dollar dealership, 350 cars on the lot, almost doubling in size next year. I mean, empire over here. And he's not a greedy person. This is the one thing I've learned from him. He's always reinvested back into the company and the employees. In my research alone in the last 3-4 years, his employees are probably the most paid dealership employees in the state for independence out of hundreds of dealerships.
Wow.
When we go to meetings, these bigger guys even say, oh my God, you're paying them this much. But I've also noticed his turnover rate is minimal. He's had the same people there since I walked in the doors in 2014, damn near. He pays himself a small, livable salary and just lets the company reinvest into itself, reinvest into real estate, always putting money to work, never being greedy. And that piece right there is what's always kept me humble, always kept me paying myself a smaller salary, always kept me reinvesting into the company, caring about people, making sure people are paid what they're worth, if not more, and all that. And I've noticed that by doing that, his business is so self-sustained, it can flip a switch at any time and double and triple in size, and a beat will not be missed because all the processes and procedures in place. And now the guys that were up here saying you're doing this and that, he's outselling them, period.
Wow.
It's one of the number 1 independent dealers in Indy. So, I'm sorry, in Indiana. So he's definitely doing something right by putting focus on the business and the employees before himself. He's a leader, but he's last.
That's awesome. Wow,
Definitely.
I love that.
Nice.
Nick, what would you say?
I would say my granddad. Because he was an entrepreneur, he was a pastor, and he was a family man. And like some of the things, like he passed away in 2006, but I mean his legacy lives on. And one of the things that he like told me, like whenever like I was younger, because I came home from a football game and like he was like, oh, like what were your stats? And I was like, I had like 2 touchdowns and this and this, and he was like, oh, you're going D1, you're gonna like make it to the NFL, this and that. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And I literally said that to him, and he was like, nah, like never say you can't do something. And that's what like I have tattooed right here, and then also I have like marked 923 like on the inside of my left, and like it just stems back to God, and it's like, what do you mean if I can? Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. And my granddad, like he had multiple like furniture stores, and he would just treat everyone like their family. So whoever like comes to deliver in, I want them to make sure I want to make sure that they're safe, like they're my son, or like they're like a member of my family. So that's why like we go above and beyond in every way to make sure people are safe from like giving out your personal information and switching it with the username and making sure that you don't have to, like no one knows where each other lives. So like that's masked. So there's no mapping in the consumer app.
Guys, I really appreciate your time. I have one more question for each one of you. And that last question, this is directed towards the young entrepreneurs that are listening. It's ending 2019. We're about to go into 2020. So what's one piece of practical advice that you challenge young entrepreneurs to do in order to take their life to the next level in 2020?
I just want to encourage millennials to really get a mirror and really look at themselves and ask themselves, what do they see in that mirror? And some people will say good things, some people say bad things. A lot of people should say a lot of improvement, a lot of great. And so the other thing I would challenge them is that whatever they see in that mirror, I would challenge them to tell themselves to write down what do they want to see in the future. So for me, the funny thing is, there's a video when I was really young, me doing the same exercise. What do I see in my future? I said I wanted to be a cleaner, like a janitor. And then here I am 28 years later, I am like a cleaner, a janitor. So ask yourself, what do you see in the future? And write it down, put it on paper, and watch it come to fulfillment. I think when you write stuff down, there is a chemical that just happens for you to remember, and then you put it out there in the universe, and then things move out the way. I love writing stuff down. If I don't write stuff down, I forget. I write the dumbest little things down, like even from getting a ticket. Hey, pay that ticket, because it's a reminder that you got to do something. So I just want to challenge millennials, to hold yourself accountable by getting in the mirror and say, what do you see? What do you see now? But then what do you see in the future in that mirror? What do you see your future self as? It could be a janitor, it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer, it could be a dad. Whatever you see, I encourage you to persevere.
I would say, whenever I was younger, my mom had a vision board. And, even today she still does. But whenever I was younger, I was like, what is this? Like, she used to literally get like a big, what is it, like the little sheets of paper? Yeah, it's like the little sheets of paper.
Like a poster board?
Yeah, poster board.
Yeah.
And then like cut out different like magazine clippings and like post it. And I'm like,
Like
what is this? Yeah, I was like, what is this? She was
I think Amazon tells you that too.
and I literally I challenged them to create a 52-week vision board where at the end of every week they can accomplish like what goal that they set for themselves like from that. So at the end of the 52 weeks, which is a year, they can like have the overall like vision of where they want to be in life. And it can be like in family, business, relationships, like anything. But as long as they have a goal set towards that, they can execute it. Because like even if like they don't hit their goal like for that week, there's different, like they can even set up like smaller ones too, like in between. And that's like what I do now with everything I do. Is like the small like different milestones that I set for myself, and then also for the team.
For sure. Jeff, what would you say that one practical piece of advice?
So my answer, it goes for personal and business. For business-wise, it's that leap of faith, for sure. You'll never know if you can go forward if you don't take that leap of faith. So I think that anyone aspiring to be an entrepreneur and listening to this interview today from us young guys, to do it. Like, just do it and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you go back to where you just were, but you'll never know what kind of greatness you could become if you don't take that first step. So that's on a business level. And also with the vision board and the goal setting thing, I 100% have a 1 year, 6 month, quarterly, monthly, and weekly goal, period. And it's written down. It's in my Google Drive, so I don't use that. But putting it down on paper actually motivates you. You got to look at it every day too, but it actually motivates you to get it done, and you really will get it done. So find your passion, step 1. Step 2, jump, go for it. And then step 3, plan your next 365 days and hit your goals. That's on a business side. On a personal side, set yourself up for success personally too. Get up earlier, get healthier, read books, get knowledge, set a budget. You will be an employee of your own business. You will payroll yourself as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
You're still an employee. You still want to budget for retirement, college funds, and you'll learn a lot of reading a lot. Oh man, there's so many books I can start naming off right now for automatic investing and just like putting like that seed aside while you grow your business. I'm sure you guys do the same thing, have automatic investments come out of your paycheck and whatnot. But on a personal side, you got to do that because you just never know where business is going to be at, where the economy is going to be next year, and you got to have that fallback, that safety net, that 401k, that retirement. So whether, being a business owner is still, again, being an employee of your business. All entrepreneurs do pay themselves as an employee, period. So.
And planning ahead, so planning ahead. And I feel like you just got to be willing to draw the line in the sand and say that this is where my level of excellence is, and don't drop that bar, and then I would say you need to take control of your mind, your thoughts. If you can master your mind, then you can master your business. You can master your community. You can master things. And that is a long process. It's not really easy to do. Try to control your thoughts and your habits, your discipline. All of that, if you get control of yourself, then you can control and run and operate a business. I think we all three can attest that, we got to be ready to brace ourselves for a customer ready to cancel or an employer ready to move forward. It shouldn't really make you upset or mad, because if you really have mastered your thoughts, you've planned for that.
Just to end this, guys, that was the last question I had. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm genuinely excited to see where you guys take your own life, your business, what you do, the impact you make in this world. I believe in each one of you. Super excited, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.